Hello and welcome to this video and my channel. Today I thought we'd have a bit of fun with the vice versa tarot deck and the symbolism in the deck rather than the meanings of the cards, because that's a whole different ballgame. But I thought we'd sort of hunt out and search for the symbolism that are within the cards, and of course, being the vice versa deck, we've got double the symbolism, as it were, because we've got a reverse side, the other side it's called. And if you're a visual person, I'm a visual person, I cannot read with pip decks. And pip decks are, apart from the major arcana, which are these ones, but the pip deck is one that doesn't have, it will just have a sword, and then the two of swords will have two swords. There won't be any graphics, there won't be any symbolism, there might be some other artwork on there, but the deck relies heavily on your intuition. And as a visual person, I require visual, if you like, stimulus or prompts or hints to guide me through, doing a reading, for instance, or when I'm talking through somebody with therapy. I like to have visual aids or physical, tangible things in order to tell a story. And so I think this is one of the reasons why I really like the vice versa deck, because there's just a vast amount of symbolism within these cards. And of course, you're looking at the same deck, but two perspectives, one from one side and one from the other side. So, it holds very well with me. I feel very congruent with this deck because I don't feel overwhelmed by it. There are so many stories going on with this deck that, it's almost, immeasurable. Anyway, if you have my hint cards, obviously this is, these cards are actually quite useful. A lot of people have found that these cards quite useful because they break down each of the cards and give you some sort of bullet point words about the meanings of the cards. But I also have a card on here about tarot symbolism. Now this is a very, very cut down version, and this is really based around the original Rider-Waite deck. And so the symbolism within there, this is not by any means a comprehensive list of all the tarot symbolism, but the most prominent symbolism. So if you've got these cards, this works really well if you're learning the tarot, or you get stuck, or you just need a prompt, on the tarot cards. So the other thing that I've done is I've listed all of the symbolism that's listed in the book and also within the vice versa tarot on their own, on a separate little database. I use these. Which I find really, and this is where we're going to be basing our information from. So this is what we're going to be searching for. It's a bit of fun. I also have been, over many, many years, because I've been reading tarot for 30 plus years, I've also got another database that I've been building up over quite a few years now of symbolism and all of the meanings that they will have within cards as well. And this is quite comprehensive. I mean, this goes into quite a lot, more so than the vice versa. And so I share this with students and anybody that really wants to sort of learn tarot. I mean, this is not exclusive information by any means, but I've just collated this information over quite a number of years from using lots of various different decks and what the symbolism means. So let's pool on those resources and let's have a look. So I don't want to spend too much time. I'm going to be missing a lot of the symbolism on here, and there's quite a few things in these cards that they're not so obvious. And I find when I'm doing a reading, and this is one of the reasons why I like these sort of picture card type decks, really, and the one that this one appeals to me is because when I'm doing a reading for somebody, or I'm using these cards in any form of psychological way, psychotherapy way, you know, there are things that sort of jump out of the card, and I then take that as being, well, that's what I really need to incorporate into the reading. But sometimes you look at the cards and you don't see things until you actually really study them carefully, because at times you just think, well, why is that there? You know, you don't really know why that's there. But anyway, let's have a bit of fun. I'm not going to spend too much time. Let's go through the major arcana first and just see if we can see. I've got this list here from the kit for the vice versa, so you get a very comprehensive book, which I absolutely rate, and it's really quite good. So we've got the Fool here. He's got a crown. He's got a crown, which obviously symbolises, according to this, power and worldly ambition, which again, you know, does actually go quite well. Now, it's actually the crown is behind him, so you do wonder whether he's walking away from that. You know, he's taken the crown off. Maybe this was somebody of royalty. You know, they've taken that power and ambition, they've left it behind, and now he's travelling, you know, with a staff and a small bag of things and some pretty basic clothes. Quite interesting. And then, of course, on the back we've got the other side, which has got the picture of the dog on there, and in the distance we've got a shooting star. Stars, yeah, that's not actually listed on here. Shooting star, nope, that's not listed either. So, but the dog very often depicts instinct, loyalty and vigilance. So, you know, that's somebody who sticks by no matter what journey somebody's going to go on. Okay, magician. Of course, the magician's got all the tools available. So, you know, the magician is working with the cups, the wands, the swords, and also the pentacles. You know, interesting how there's a candle lit at both ends, which is actually holding vertically. And that's also quite interesting, that the flame is pointing downwards. And then we've got the lumisphere. So the lumisphere is obviously, lumiscate rather, is the figure 8 symbol of the infinite, you know, infinite possibilities, infinite workings. And flowers, now there is several flowers. I'm not brilliant on flowers, so I just see flowers as being a generic thing. You know, there are certain flowers that mean certain things and certain trees that mean certain things. But yeah, generally speaking, I take the magician as being somebody who's got all the tools available, and on his back here he's got the symbol here of the Sephiroth, or the Kabbalah. Is that on here? No, that's not actually on here. But of course that's like an all-encompassing magical system that, you know, again, a bit like the magician, is very much got all the tools available to do the workings. We've got the High Priestess. So we have pillars here. Interesting that that's not listed. We've got, you know, the colour purple, which the colour purple is a symbolism of, you know, ultimate supreme power. And so, you know, hence you see that an awful lot with royalty and such like. And we've got keys on the back here. So we've got sort of a royal blue pillow with some keys. Keys, obviously, you know, gold and silver. 2 approaches to the initiatory faith, conscious and unconscious. So again, you know, it's that sort of almost supreme power over knowledge and wisdom, and such like. Now, I know that that symbol there on top of her head means something, and again, you see, I'm not very good at using these things, but yeah. And we've got red and blue flame, and fire. Is that something that's listed? Flames, yeah, there we go. So necessary destruction of all that is old and purification. Yeah. So quite a lot of symbolism in there, obviously. The Empress. Typically the Empress is obviously about fertility and, you know, blossoming, you know, the bounty, and everything around, you know, sort of the harvest and fullness of everything. She's holding a staff. Not something that's in there, interestingly enough. We've got the star. On the back we've got an eagle. Most birds in cards will symbolize a higher plane, spiritual, angelic kind of, you know, influence or guidance of some sort. And so, you know, it says an intuition that enables vision from above. So it's, you know, it's looking, and there's sort of there's another bird in here as well, which is quite interesting. We've got the Emperor, again very symbolic, the anchor in the left hand here, symbolizing life. And then in the right hand he's got like an orb, a golden orb of some sort. A golden orb is a domination of the world, you know, holding that in the hand, which again is quite interesting. We've got fire related to him. We've got several, you know, phases. We've got the symbol of the sun here. We've got the phases of the moon. I can't remember what that symbol there means. Ooh, it's an alchemical symbol. And then we've got a cube. Now I do remember writing down here, so matter that has been shaped, control, stability, limitations, and that's behind him. Interesting. And obviously we've got fire, which symbolizes purity, purification, and, you know, necessary destruction of all that is old. Hierophant, pretty straightforward. We've got the keys again, you know, the opening, the unlocking, or the owner of information that, you know, we might need. I can't remember what what he's holding. I think it's just a symbol of power, basically. It's the same, you know, the authority and power and judgment and stability and, you know, authority. And it's the same with what he's wearing on his head as well. And then behind we've got a symbol of an apple. So an apple is a symbol of Venus, knowledge, freely chosen. And we've got a young child, which would obviously symbolize, you know, innocence, and holding a key. Again, you know, keys to wisdom, etc., etc. And then we've got a symbol of sort of an ancient symbol of a mother earth figure there. Quite interesting. So now we have the lovers. Symbolism in the lovers here I think is pretty basic, although we've got two trees, you know, one with a snake going up it, and then on the male side we've got a symbol of a tree that's on fire. Again, I guess purification. Trees, connection between the worlds above and below. So yeah, the male and the female. And then we've got the amphora here, which, you know, the vessels of cosmic energy. And then we've got the six-pointed star, and then the symbol of Mercury, so sort of communication between. And then on the back, actually, if you look very closely, on the back of the female, we've got the the water symbol. No, yeah, the water symbol. Or is that the... No, yeah, I think that's the water symbol. And then that one there is the air, not the air, the fire symbol. So that's quite interesting as well. The chariot. Direction, speed. We've got the... oh, I've got my pendant with it on. I can't remember the name of that. It escapes me. You know, this is the thing with symbolism. It jumps out at you and then it has a meaning. When you go through and actually look at it, you kind of have to try and remember what it's all about. We've got, you know, crowns here, crowns depicting power and worldly ambition. We've got a rune. We've got a rune there. A rune, a ride and a journey that is depicting. And then in the chariot, he's also got a cup. So again, sort of like the water symbol, yeah. And then on the back of him, he's got the symbol of Cancer. So yeah, very interesting. They've got the Lumiscape again on the strength card. You know, the symbol of the lion is about power and energy, strength. You know, and the fact that she's actually, you know, it's not taking an awful lot of effort for her to open the lion's mouth. And then behind, you know, we've got sort of wheat here in the foreground. Yeah, wheat, fertility. I guess actually the wheat would also come from the Empress. So again, you know, fertility, the child born from the sacred union between the earth and the sky. Interesting. Hermit. He's got a staff. He's got a light symbolizing finding the way, you know, illuminating an egg with a snake round it. Now the egg is obviously about rebirth, fertility again, you know, being born, and a snake going round it. Now the snake, wisdom, the willingness to seek knowledge, chthonic forces, yeah. And you got the snake wrapped around his staff as well. Then we've got a red and white dog there in the distance, and it looks like a crab down here. Now a crab is connected to the moon, symbol of chthonic forces again. So yeah, it's the egg and the snake and the crab here, symbol of the moon. We've got another bird up here. A lot going on in that card. We've got the Wheel of Fortune. The symbols here. And we've got the Magician, you see, the Magician again with the anchor. Now, it's funny how the anchor is not actually listed in the vice versa symbolism list, which is quite interesting. But obviously the wheel, lots of options, things going round and round. Symbol here of a dog's head and then looks like a lizard's head. Interesting. We have Justice. Obviously the scales, you know, about balancing and such like, and the sword is about thoughts, power, wielding, you know, the edge, the symbol on the floor. Oh my goodness! Again, I'm not brilliant at remembering a lot of this stuff, but I can't remember. That escapes me now. What that actually means on the floor. And then on the back we've got this strange animal. When it escapes me what that means. I can't remember. We've got the sword again here depicted on the back with a butterfly. And she's actually, it looks to me like she's got a blindfold on. And a blindfold is turning toward innovation, blind to material destructions. Interesting. We've got the Hanged Man. Obviously suspension, different way of looking at things. And it really does annoy me that I know what that symbol means. It's a triangle with a cross underneath it, and I can't remember what that means. I think it's kind of, you know, sort of a transmutation, a wholeness and a oneness. It's an alchemical symbol. And here we have the snake, symbol of the snake again. We've got a mask that's been taken off down here. We've got a sickle. Now a sickle is a crescent moon shaped symbol, the symbol of cycles of death and rebirth. So again, you know, that transition phase, as it were. Death. We've got the horse's eyes alight with fire. Again, sort of purification. Kind of that destruction, that transformation from one thing to another using fire. And then on the back we've got a skull with a crow on there. In the background we've got, it looks like the lady out of the Ace of Cups. And then we've got an amphora, I think they call it. No, this is, what's this bottle thing here? Don't know off the top of my head. Can't remember. Oh, I've just realised, actually, the egg. I knew that there was a symbol of this. In the Hermit, they call it the Orphic egg. And the Orphic egg is the origin of everything, which is quite powerful. So now we have temperance. Temperance symbols, Mercury, and the alchemical symbol there with the triangle and the cross underneath, which I think is an element of everything. That, you know, it's the coming together of everything, of oneness, of wholeness. And then we've got obviously the chalices, you know, where she's sort of pouring water from one to the other. And on the back we have the lion and an eagle, or falcon, maybe it's a falcon. Okay, so a falcon, solar masculine principle. No, it looks like an eagle to me. And we've also got interestingly enough, we've got the Hanged Man's pillar, that, you know, the sort of suspension device there in the background on the back of the temperance card, which would indicate that that's, you know, having been through the change and the suspension of the Hanged Man, that, you know, now is the time to sort of have temperance in what we do. The Devil card, obviously chains, symbolism. We've got what looks like an orange tree behind the lady here, the female. We've got fire, the big block, the devil on there. And then on the back we have quite a few candles, and candles, illumination of human endeavour, with the pentagram, inverted pentagram. We've got lotus, enlightenment, beauty, rebirth, and these are things that are behind this scene, which is quite interesting. Okay, the tower. We've got an eye. The eye is not something that's actually on there, but I mean the eye would sort of indicate, you know, keeping an eye open, you know, looking into the future, sort of an all-seeing element or symbol of what's going on here. You know, that you know, with the tower and the fire and the purity of the dove flying, that, you know, this is a cleansing, this is a purification process. So it's very destructive, but can be a very, you know, and behind the scenes we've got, you know, the two chariot figures here, which is quite interesting. Can't really see what's down here. It's quite dark, and then we've got a mask that's broken. So a mask is obviously what is hidden, the hidden part of the teaching. So again, you know, with the eye symbolizing looking at everything, seeing all. You know, obviously we can't, you know, this is obviously a stage or a phase of someone's life where, you know, they can't, the mask is also broken. You know, what is behind the mask is now revealed. So now we've got the star, we've got the ibis in this, and I know that because I really did search for what this bird was. And the ibis indicates the bird that is the incarnation of Thoth, the god of the word, creator and healer. And we've got two vessels, the amphora, the vessels of cosmic energy, feeding both the earth and the water. Sort of the emotional, the grounding, the heart and the soul. We've got a rose. And again, flowers typically depict, I mean, it's a rose, so it's the fleeting sweetness of life, purity of spirit, a Rosicrucian symbol for love that outlives death. Very interesting. We've got the moon. And the moon of this card, obviously, you know, things that are hidden, look beyond what you think you can see. You know, it's about phases. It's about time. It's about things that change, things that are possibly hidden, things that need to be, you know, sometimes you just need to wait for things to reveal themselves. Crab connected to the moon symbol of the chthonic forces. So yeah, it's, you know. And then behind there we've got an eclipse. I don't know what that star formation is there. Galaxy, the cosmic cycles through which our earthly journey travels. Okay. Again, you know, that would... And interesting also how these towers here are all broken and you know, again, like sort of revealing on the back. From the front they look perfectly okay, but on the back they're all falling apart. Again, it's that, you know, what the moon... Sometimes we have to be careful about what the moon sees. You know, again with the symbolism, you know, there are things that you don't always see in these cards until you look at them in depth and study them. Okay, so now we've got the sun. Obviously sunflowers, you know, very often about the brightness. They're also full of seeds which we eat, which are very good for us. And they're also a reflection of sort of heavenly things. We've got the horse there. And we've got this eye, the eye of Horus. So Horus, the falcon god, okay, that's not that one. Yeah, interesting. The needle. And here we have judgment. time to reveal, time to own up to, you know, life and everything in it, and be judged, if you like, by a higher power, by an angelic power. You know, this is the time that you are kind of, you know, judged. And here the symbolism is obviously the falcon, the solar masculine principle, okay, behind, with the sun behind it. And then the man is holding a skull. Skull's the transitionary nature of things, obviously, you know, about time. We've got the egg, the Orphic egg, the origin of everything. The child's not holding anything. And then we have the world. So we've got obviously she's surrounded with this kind of wreath of some sort. And then around the wreath she's got these, what look like twisted golden rings. I don't know, gold. I mean, gold in itself is solar, incorruptible, alchemical fire, worldly concerns. So yeah, they're being bound by the four corners, the four powers, the four energies, and she's got these candles here again. It's quite interesting. Okay, well, I don't want this to be too long a video. We're not going to go through the whole deck at this point. So that's the Major Arcana and the symbolism found in the Major Arcana deck. And we'll now move on to the Minor Arcana.